Hey guys, so today I want to do a review of the Origin Knives Woodsman. Um, I need to give a little bit of backstory on this. You guys know that, I waited 16 months for the Beck WSK. Absolutely love the knife. I've done the reviews on it, used it for over a year now, and I think it is the most refined version of the tracker design that's out there. I had zero plans on ever buying another knife or another chopper. I was just going to use the WSK. However, back in March, I got a message from a guy out in Scotland. His name was Alec from Easygoing Outdoors. And he was just asking me some questions on what I thought of the tracker design. While we were conversing back and forth, he said, "Hey, I've got a couple of videos up of me and Kevin from Origin Knives, the knife maker. Kevin's been making knives for the last 12 years in the UK, and he goes, we've had a discussion. Why don't you take a look at it?" So this was a two-part video, and I'm going to link it down in the description below. I watched the video, and I was super impressed. It was one of the most comprehensive conversations I've heard on the tracker design, the pros, the cons, the whole nine yards. And ended up talking with Kevin. We ended up becoming friends. And as Kevin was working through this process of how to improve the tracker design, I got to kind of watch as this whole thing came into fruition. So if you check out Origin Knives, you'll see several designs he has of trackers. One with the Tanto style blade, stuff like that. Well, as we're talking back and forth, it came up that the original concept for the tracker was a bushcraft style edge here, very sharp, and a hatchet style blade here. Well, for chopping and stuff like that. Well, he posed a question. He goes, "Hey," he goes, "me and Alec were talking. What chops better than a hatchet?" Well, kukri. And that's what they were thinking as well. So Kevin said, "Well, what if we make the front end of a WSK more like a kukri?" Which was great for me because these are the type of knives that I used to use for bushcraft and camping. The first one was the Frontline Kukri Tracker. It's a full size tracker kukri hybrid, and Alec has it, and he's shown it on a bunch of videos, and it's a powerhouse. It's an amazing blade. Kevin then came up with an idea of making a smaller version of the Frontline Kukri Tracker, and that is where the Woodsman came in. So let's do a comparison between a traditional kukri from Himalayan imports, the Beck WSK, and the Frontline Kukri Tracker, so you guys can kind of get an idea of the size of the knife and also its different features. Start off, we're going to just check the weight of the knife in the sheath. And okay, we're zeroed out. So this first one is the CLUVK from Himalayan Imports, in a leather sheath. This is a rat tang knife, very traditional. Set that down right there. Okay. We're looking at 26.81 ounces. Okay, next up is the Woodsman in a Kydex sheath, 31.68 ounces. And finally, the beck. I stripped down the sheath as much as I could, just using like if you were going with scout carry. It just has the 2 straps. And the beck comes in at 32.28 ounces. Okay, so now let's weigh the knives. There's a Himalayan Imports kukri. Set it right there. 21.13 ounces. Bring up the Woodsman. I'm going to go ahead and take the Kydex cover off of that. 26.38 ounces. And Beck WSK. 22.61 ounces. For comparison, the Beck and the Woodsman are both 01 tool steel, and they're both 1/4 inch thick. The Himalayan Imports is usually some variant of 5160, and it has a taper. Yeah, you're looking about 5/16 on that. Of course, it doesn't have a full tang on it. So let's look at blade length. The WSK is running right at 7 inches. The Woodsman coming straight across like this is right at 8.5. And the kukri, you're looking right at 10. If you go all the way back to the bolster, about 10.25. And also for comparison, we're going to look at the handle size. With the Beck, you're looking right at 6 inches. With the Woodsman, you're looking at 5.5. And with the kukri, you're looking at 5.75. One thing I also want to point out is the balance point on these knives. The Beck WSK's balance point is just, if you guys can see that, it's basically right along the shoulder, right there. Origin, about 1 inch forward or so. And Himalayan Imports, that's about 3 inches. So let's look at the features of the knife itself. As you guys can tell, it's got a beautiful convex edge out of 01. At the tip here is a splitting swedge for breaking up kindling. The spine along here is at a 90 degree. I've been using it for the last couple of days to sand down a walking stick that I'm working on. Works really, really good. Right here is a 10mm hole for like root stripping roots and things like that, or bending wire. Kevin has come up with an extremely aggressive saw design that, well, on video, I've sawn through a 3.5 inch log with it. The finish is kind of a rustic forge finish, so that way you're not worried about scratching up your knife blade. Follow the Ford kukri style chopping section down. You got a nice curve there, and you come right into the quarter round. And if you guys can see, the front section here is ground a little bit steeper than this section. This is your fine work section. And the edge here is, I mean, the entire knife is sharp, but this is a straight razor right there. The quarter round is amazing. It is so easy to get curls with that. While I've been carving, I've been using that quarter round point to score the wood. It works great. As you come down the blade, these scales, this was new to me. I had never heard of this before, but it's called Permali. And I want to spell that out. It's Permali. And this is beech wood that's under vacuum and pressure is impregnated with resin. And it is just absolutely bulletproof stuff. It can withstand, and you guys can look this up on Google. This stuff can withstand all sorts of moisture and abuse, so it's perfect for knife scales. These bolts are 304 stainless steel, and he made them where they are removable. This larger bolt here is an 8mm. This bolt here is a 5mm. And he's turned those to where you can take a 6mm hex, take off one side, then take off the other side, and the scales are removable so you can make sure there's no rust or anything underneath your tang. Really easy to do. He's textured all of this all the way around to here. All the way from up here, textured it all the way back. I wasn't sure how I was going to like the scales, but Kevin does something that I don't know of any maker right now who does this. He actually asks for your hand measurements, and the size of the handle really depends on the size of your hands. It fits me perfect. I've been chopping with this knife, carving with this knife, and zero hot spots, zero problems. And using it in the rain, it does not twist. Now, with polished micarta or polished wood, I have had problems with knives twisting and slipping when they're wet. This one I have not. So I really appreciate that. The back here is not textured. It's got a 90-degree on both sides here, which is fantastic for ferro rods. The other thing, move this out of the way, Kevin makes a bow drill adapter. He turned this out himself. Free spinning, and it fits right there. So whenever you're using a bow drill, you can saw your spindle, fit it right there, and it's nice and deep. It's not going to go out. Very handy. Nice part is, too, it fits inside of an Altoids tin. So I really like that. Because the saw is so aggressive, Kevin makes a saw cover, and this is actually magnetic, so it'll just stay on. Magnetic Kydex saw cover that fits right in. And if you notice, there's a little hole that goes through right there, and I'll show you what that's for in just a second. 10mm hole there, and the hole here is for the bow drill adapter, and there's a hole here and a hole here for wire bending or anything else you might need. I've used a lot of kukris. This knife chops way above its weight. I'm not quite sure if it's the way he has the balance or if it's the extra weight that's back here, but it is an amazing chopper. Another nice thing that he did, by putting this angle up here, this is where you baton. Put that over the stick of wood that you're batoning through, you beat up here, and it leaves your hand at a comfortable angle while you're beating it through. So this extra mass up here has a couple different reasons. One's for batoning, and the other, it improves the chopping ability of the knife. Here's the Kydex sheath. You can get it in all sorts of different colors. And you'll notice I'm left-handed, so that's for my thumb. Remember the hole here? There's a brass stud that goes all the way through. So when you're putting the knife in the sheath, it clips in, and that brass stud goes through the edge, and it locks the knife in place. Easy to get out, easy to put back in, but once the knife's in place, it's not going to fall out. That also works with or without the saw cover. For about 2 weeks now, I've had this knife. I've chopped bamboo with it, I've chopped trees with it, I've done carving with it, I've had campfires with it, I've used it to use it on ferro rods, carving a walking stick, and it's just performed outstanding. I'm not quite sure what he does with his heat treat, but I have not needed to sharpen this knife. I've touched it up with the Frankenblock just because I wanted to, but it just does not dull. And it's held an edge better than any other 01 tool steel that I've ever had. You guys ever pick up a tool that just works? That's this. And I wholeheartedly endorse this blade. I don't know if it's the size, I don't know if it's the weight, I don't know if it's the grind, but this works. Expect to see a lot more videos with it. I was not expecting to buy another knife, but I am so thankful that I did. And I'm very happy to have the prototype. It's been really cool watching a knife maker, ask questions and form ideas and turn that into such a wonderful working tool. I feel blessed to have been part of it, to get to see it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope the video explains some of the features of the Woodsman and how it came to be. So if you guys have any questions, please put them down in the comments below, and I'll try to get to them. Check out Origin Knives and the line of stuff that he has on his Facebook page. I put some links down below to the videos that I was talking about. And take care, guys. Stay safe. Hope you enjoyed the video, and God bless.